And hello, everybody. This is another episode of the Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rant. And that's who we are. I'm Ryan, that's Burn. As you know, God, no. If you don't know who we are by now, then that's just... Well, if you're new, welcome. But for those of you who don't, that's just sad. That's just sad, but... Oh, today, this is... You know what, Burn, why don't you take it from here before I just lash out and just frustration? Go ahead, just, why don't you tell everybody what we're talking about tonight?
Well, I mean, if you clicked the video, you saw the thumbnail, folks, you know we are going to be doing our review for Morbius, starring Jared Leto. And as you know, you guys have been saying that the most anticipated comic book film of this year, about this doctor, right, that injects himself with vampire serum and becomes the living vampire. And, this is Sony's addition into their own cinematic universe, just like how they did with the Venom movies. And, yeah, we saw it, and we're going to talk about it. But before we get into it, folks, remember, you just go ahead, give us a like, throw in the subscription so you guys can see all the stuff that we're talking about, because things are just heating up, and this is one of those. This is one of those starts to the year proper, and, like I said, most anticipated film of the year by far.
This movie should have just been released in January, in all honesty.
It did feel like a January movie.
I'm going to say right now, this is awful. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. I would rather watch the entire Twilight saga than I would this. And for any of those who know me, like personally, you know how I dislike Twilight with utmost passion. Yeah, this was just awful. I can't believe I wasted time. I can't believe I ever thought this movie was going to be good at one point. I remember when the first teaser dropped years ago. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm down. No, I completely was like, I would have slapped my 2020 self, just been like, you're a fool. How dare, like that Batman meme where he slaps Robin, just, oh my God, this is cool. Just, no, absolutely not. What'd you think of it, Burn?
I mean, I'm not going to be as hyperbolic as you are, but it definitely wasn't a great movie. I don't think it was absolutely terrible, but I also almost kind of prefer that it were. I wish I was as mad at it as you seem to be. But this was just a very safe movie. Like, it was just so paint by numbers, so middle of the road. So just it felt like there was no artistic integrity in this movie. So again, it's not one of the worst things I've ever seen, but it's just like, I don't remember it. Like, it's going to be one of those that comes in, goes away, and then like 5 years from now I'm going to be like, oh yeah, there was a Morbius movie that came out, like Jared Leto was in that too. Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just the plot just happens, the actors are acting, characters are there. It's like, okay, like there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason or purpose for this movie to even exist. And that's kind of, again, like I said, I really wish I hated it so I could be like, wow, I mean, I came away passionate about this movie, but I just feel absolutely nothing for it. And I think that's somehow even worse. Jared Leto, kind of gives it like a nice little go ahead try. But and like now also Matt Smith too. I think he's the one that has clearly the most fun in this movie. And I felt like the love interest, Adria Arjona, I think she did a decent enough job. Again, I think she did fine with, I guess, the material. Like, no better than Michelle Williams in the Venom movies. But I mean, the ones that really could have just not been the movie at all was Tyrese Gibson and his partner as the detectives. It was just like, you take them out of the movie and the movie changes nothing. Like, it doesn't change at all. Like, they're there, and then there's no reason for them to be there at all. And by the end of the movie, I was like, why was Tyrese in here? I was expecting to at least feel something with Tyrese. Like, either he's making me laugh or annoyed, and here he's just non-existent. Again, just like a lot of other things in the movie. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. Very just meh. Like, I really wish I was on either one or the side. Like I said, I would have preferred it to be absolutely horrible so I had more to talk about, but it's just, it happened. You've seen the trailers, you know where this plot's going, and it's just, this movie offers you nothing outside of that, and that's unfortunate.
I mean, I was going to, take it one step further. Instead of just getting rid of Tyrese and his partner, get rid of everybody. Get rid of this whole movie. Just delete it from existence, in all honesty, because, I mean, I know, okay, this is a little on my fault, I'm going to admit. I was not looking forward to this movie at all. So,
oh, me neither.
given I kind of went into that headspace, I tried to clear my head when I watched it. So I gave it my best shot to try and be like, let me see if this movie's actually like decent or watchable. It isn't. It honestly isn't. You're definitely a lot nicer about it than I am. Where it's just like
and
really,
I'm not nice at all.
but compared to me, you're like. It's almost like good cop, bad cop. I'm just you're like Mark Wahlberg, and I'm just I'm just Will Ferrell. Just you want to talk to me? You want to talk to Ryan? What are you doing?
It's bad cop, bad cop.
And I thought that's what you said, bad cop, bad cop. No, like I said, man, it just. I was watching. I thought, okay, this isn't a comic book movie. This is supposed to be like a vampire movie, and even then, it fails. It's just a failure on all fronts. Jared Leto, I like him as an actor. I just don't think he's cut out for just the superhero genre in general. Although I did defend him I was talking about a couple people randomly. I was like, no, his Joker was kind of interesting. I didn't mind his version. It was just the direction they took it in Suicide Squad, because I'm like, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, I thought his and Batman scene was one of my favorite parts. And that was already the end of the movie. So I'm not going to knock him necessarily. I don't think I'm just a Matt Smith fan too much, to be honest.
I'm not in particular either. But I mean, like I said, he had the most fun in this movie, and that was really the only part I enjoyed, just because he seemed to be having a good time. But go ahead, sorry.
No, that's fine. Like I said, I just couldn't get into it all. The acting was mediocre. I feel like everybody just took a paycheck, but at the same time, even I would be like, I still kind of feel bad that they're all associated with it, because I'm like, they're all relatively good actors, but they're just attached to this, and that sucks. Tyrese, yeah, I mean, the Tyrese and the whole detectives part of the story, completely worthless, and again, just contributed nothing. If anything, almost made it worse, because it was just so dumb, and it almost tried to be a self-aware movie with some of these characters. Like, they know they're in a vampire story, they're ready to do this, and it's like, no, it doesn't work on all fronts. My other gripes were just the visual effects were horrible. Sometimes Morbius looked cool as a vampire, other times just awful. Matt Smith's vampire looked most of the time awful. Just way too CGI to be really get me into it. And then the fight scenes, majority of them were at night or something, so I could barely see it. Like Venom's night scene in the first one, I thought was a lot easier to see than this one.
Yeah, so, that one wasn't even particularly easy to see either. I do definitely agree with you there. That a lot of the action sequences here, in particular the final confrontation, it was just much like Venom, the first one's ending, where it's just a mishmash of shapes and stuff hitting each other in a very hard to see environment, and it's unfortunate when it seems like that's what they got to do to sort of hide their horrible effects. I will disagree that I do think some of the effects were really cool, and I think some of it was pretty interesting. Like we see in the trailer, his bat sonar, essentially. I thought that effect was used pretty cool, and I thought that they could have done a little bit more with that. But yeah, overall I agree with you. It just kind of felt unfinished in some parts, and just a visual mess in others.
Like I said, there are some parts visually I was like, okay, that's solid. The his bat senses, and then there some up close shots, or when he really gnarled his teeth or gnashed his teeth. I was like, okay, that looks pretty good. I like that part, but then the rest of it just looked way too fake. It didn't vibe well. Just ridiculous storyline. It's gonna, for me, my final thing is just 0 out of 5. Not watchable. Not worth. I wouldn't even pay for it. Never, even piqued my interest. I would never do it. That's just a complete 0 out of 5. Shouldn't have happened.
Wow. Well, I mean, I would give it I'm giving it a 1 out of 5, but that's just because that's the lowest score I would give. 1 out of 5 is just you made a movie. I don't believe in zeros. It's that would just be not a movie at all, I guess. At least in my own personal ranking and ratings and stuff. But yeah, I'm about as low as you can be in a score for this movie, which is unfortunate. And like I said, I kind of wish that it was worse, so I can at least come away with making fun of the movie in some parts. That it's just there's nothing to really pick at here, so it almost takes that sort of fun away from it. So yeah, that's where it stands for me. But the one that really set me over the edge was those post credit sequences, which were the absolute worst. And And we're not gonna do a spoiler review, its own like video for this thing, but we will get into a little light spoilers here pretty soon. Whenever Ryan deems it, whenever you just want to get into it, man. If we want to rip the Band-Aid off,
I'm ready to rip the Band-Aid. Let's put this dumpster fire out of its misery. Is that cool with you though? Anything else you want to add, or we're good?
No. I mean, I think I've said all. I mean, I don't want to beat a horse while it's down, but we are gonna do it a little bit more here with talking about these awful post-credit sequences. But yeah, in terms of my non-spoiler thoughts, that was it. 1 out of 5, hard to recommend.
0 out of 5, never would recommend. I guess unless you really like bad movies, like I could even defend Michael Bay's Transformers movies, and even those are awful. But this one I just can't. So that's all I'm gonna end with. So if you guys stuck out with this and want to listen to our little spoiler, credit scenes, stick around. If not, you want to go see this movie, good luck. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't recommend this, and I can't wish anybody luck on this one. I'm sorry. That's just, I really did not like this. I don't know why I'm so like fired up about it. I just don't like it. It was awful. But let's get to it, shall we, Bern?
Yeah, it's all all film is subjective, but I would question the people's subjective taste if they love this movie. But hey, to each their own. But I would speak ill of you, behind your back.
I would just do it right in front of them. Like, are you serious? Like, this would be my face. Just what?
Just what?
A spoiler session. Here we go. So the first, just correct me if I'm wrong, and I want to make sure I stuck out of it, because to be honest, as soon as the credits rolled, I just want to get the hell out of there. It was just the first scene at the it was just the 2 scenes, right? There wasn't a third one at the very end of the whole thing. It was just those 2, right?
Yeah, it was just those 2 mid-credits sequences. That was pretty much it. Yeah, there wasn't anything at the very end. And
it was really weird why they did it that way. I don't get the placement. Okay, good. It's not just me.
Very weird.
Again, I think that's why I'm so fired up about this. Is it reaffirms my statement that Sony does not know how to handle live action superhero movies. They're almost like Fox with the X-Men movies. They just keep butchering it as they go. I don't know how. I mean, unfortunately, it's doing well financially, so they may keep this going. It's given them reason to be like, we can keep this going. People paid for it. But the first scene with the whole. It ties into No Way Home with the multiverse kind of breaking through, and Adrian Toomes, like Michael Keaton's character, when he showed up at the prison, I was like, I'm so confused. So are you now in Sony's world, or are you still in the MCU? That wasn't necessarily clear to me. And then
he went from the MCU to Sony's universe.
Okay,
which again is continuity wise. Not how it worked. At least we were led to believe that it was things from other universes coming into the MCU, not things being shot out. So that's a huge continuity problem, I think, unless someone at Marvel can clear that up, that actually people went away. But again, that's not how the spell was presented in No Way Home, and that's not the way it should have worked. And again, it's so stupid.
No, not at all. And then the next one where he drives his electric Porsche, which I'm like, how do you still have a car? Aren't you on the run as a fugitive? Like, this is dumb as hell. And then the Vulture comes out in the desert. So I'm like, how does that work? He got that technology from
Iron Man Tech and the Tinkerer making it.
But it was also, what are those aliens? The Chitauri. He got it all from Chitauri, Iron Man Avengers.
Yeah,
stuff.
the salvage from.
Yeah,
the
so
Avengers.
it's so then how does he have it in the Sony world? That makes no freaking sense.
The exact same suit too. It's what?
Well, the mask did look a little more.
It did look a little bit
They tried to make it a little
different.
more vulture. They made it more vulturish, but that's really the only difference. And just, it's all about Spider-Man's fault. I think, me and a couple other people should join together, do some good. It's like, what? I literally almost audibly said, what the fuck does that mean? I don't know. It was just the dumbest scenes.
It was a complete character assassination of the Vulture as we knew him in Homecoming, where by the end of that movie, him and Spider-Man seemed to have a reasonable understanding, like, hey, you try to screw me over, but you also saved my life. He seems like he has a code in that movie, right? Where, like, he's like, hey, you saved my daughter, I'm gonna let you live. Hey, you're ruining my whole, stealing of this Stark tech from this airliner, but you saved my life before these things blew up in my hands. So at the end of that movie, he doesn't give up, his identity, because he knows it's Peter. And he doesn't give up the identity to, Scorpion in that universe. So, like, it seems like he's like, okay, like, I have a little bit of respect for this guy. And then for him to end up here in a world that's completely different and then be like, I'm here because of Spider-Man, we should team up. And, I'm thinking, like, what it's implying is that they're going to team up and be a Sinister Six against Spider-Man. It's like, this does not track. One, for the continuity issues with the whole tearing of the universes, and two, with Adrian Toomes himself being a complete, just straight villain here, where he was much more complex and much more interesting in the MCU in Homecoming. And it's like, again, like you said, like, what? Like, why?
Like I said, man, Sony sucks. Because I was reading something today that the director said, no, Sony made that decision, I didn't. So I'm like, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, it was a total they're just trying to cash in on everything Spider-Man, and they're trying to justify, no, he should stay with Sony. And I'm like, this is evidence that you don't know how to use Spider-Man. The only one you do know is the animated movie, which is a lot easier to be good at. And you guys trademarked your animation on that, or patented it. I think patented is the right one. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's good, but you guys can't do live action Spider-Man. You guys are incompetent. Your creative decisions are awful. So, yeah, that's also kind of what set me over the edge, was like, just those scenes. I was like, why? What makes you think this will work? It doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. Like, if anything, Morbius would have made way more sense going into the MCU. And that's when he meets Blade, or he hears about Blade, especially the artificial blood. Oh shoot. Are we still spoilers, or should I not talk about that stuff too much?
I guess you can mention it. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're in the spoiler section anyway.
Okay, I was going to say, like the whole artificial blood, I was like, that'd be a good tie-in for Blade and how he helps Blade with his thirst. Because the whole point of Morbius is like, I don't want to just drink everybody. I'm not trying to do that. But now he's going to be a villain with Vulture? Like...
Yeah, again, it goes against Vulture's character and against Morbius's character, where it's like, he's not a villain. Like in this movie, like just the beginning where he kills those guys, but that's when he has no control. And then now throughout the whole movie, he's in control, and it's like he's aware of what he's doing, and it's like, why would he want to team up with this dude that he never met from another universe, and why would he want to fight Spider-Man when he has no issues with Spider-Man?
Yeah, there wasn't even no mention of Spider-Man in this whole movie, no. So it's like, that was just completely out of left field. Like I said, man, I just didn't care for it, and I'm like really not looking forward to any more of Sony's Spider-Verse stuff at all. But
they're sticking to their guns, and we're getting more from them.
Unfortunately, yes. But that concludes our review of Morbius, guys. So if you stuck it out, let us know in the comments. Did you hate it just as much as I did? Are you gonna, what'd you like about it? I don't want to be. I'm not gonna be a monster to my ranters, but anybody else on the street, it's like, I watch your show. You're wrong about Morbius. I'm like, what? Like, I'll just be like, you know what? Good for you. After I'm just like, mother.
Thank you for watching.
He did on purpose. Burn, he did on purpose. He's trying to set me up. But until next time, guys, we got more Moon Knight coming at you. And like I said, the movie season... Yeah. What were you going to say, bro?
No, I was going to say Sonic and Ambulance are coming out. So hopefully those are a better way to end April. Hopefully Morbius didn't just set a bad precedent for the month of April, because
oh gosh. But until next time, guys, stay bodacious, keep on Ren, and we will see you all on another time.
Exactly, everybody. Be good, be safe, and see y'all on the next one.